Hello guys, welcome you all at JTC India interview preparation live classes, and today we will be discussing about the again interview questions as like the previously what we have seen. Give me 1 second. Right, and meanwhile if you are getting any questions, any doubts, do let us know. And if you all have connected, say hello in the chat box so that I can know you all got connected. So guys, today what we are going to discuss is very important questions we are going to discuss. And I'll not say it as a question, but we are talking about the design patterns. What I'm saying is the design patterns. What is the design pattern is first? Design pattern. Design pattern. So see, I'll be coming to each one of the things like what is the design pattern and all. So majority today we have discussed is the design pattern, right? So design pattern is what? Some sort of template. Design pattern is what? Some sort of template. On the given proper predefined things, predefined components, we started writing our code based on that parameter, based on that given things, right? So that there are different types of patterns has been given which we can follow while developing our project, right? And that is already the proven way which takes your less time, which gives the clean separation among cross-cutting its technologies, cross-cutting technology or better it is like what all the different options things you are writing, it separates in each other, right? It is so there are many again different types of design patterns are available, guys, right? So first is here the first one which I am going to discuss, and it is very important for interview also. What is that design pattern is? So hello to everyone, like Abbas, Kritika and other things, those whose comments I can see. So hi, good evening to all of you, and please keep on writing your comment box if you are getting any doubts, if you are getting any question in that, right? Okay, so let me come to this. So Singleton design pattern first. So I'll be discussing more about this because today we are going to discuss more and more about this design pattern concepts itself specific. So the very first one is it's a Singleton design pattern, guys. Singleton design pattern. Singleton design pattern. This is one important thing. What is the meaning of and see, it is the most important interview question in your single. What sort of questions? I'll come to the Singleton design pattern. But what sort of questions could come in the Singleton design pattern? You can note it down. That in your project where you have implemented Singleton design pattern, what all the scenarios where you have implemented Singleton design pattern, what was the benefit of implementing the Singleton design pattern in your project, right? In compared to Singleton design pattern, can't we do some other thing here? Can't we do some other programming process through which we can achieve the same kind of requirements? Can't we achieve that instead of, or can't we implement that instead of implementing the can't we implement that instead of achieving the like other things here, right? Or can't we implement that? That all many things are there which is there which we can see here, right? those few of you are commenting something like I want to join and something like that. So you are most welcome, you can join JTC, but write your mobile number and all things in the uh, live chat section, so that from our office they can contact, or you can contact on our given official number. So if anything is there, write it in the chat box itself. Fine. Anyways, so here now guys, here what I just now want to just explain you is Singleton Design Pattern. I am coming to the Singleton Design Pattern. See, if I'll write one class, if I am writing one class, a simple class I am writing, guys. See, the specialty of this class, guys, I am not taking any big names. I am not taking any big names like classes like employee, server, this, that. I am not taking any name. What I realized, that when you are starting learning this Java or these all things, especially in the books or somewhere, then the people started using very hi-fi names of the classes for the methods. And being a beginner, initially you get confused in that only, that what is the name. Oh, this is means names itself scares you at that time. So here I am taking a very simple names which you use every day in your things. So here, say for example, I write here a class, and if the class which I am writing here, hello, a simple class I am writing here. Is it okay? Now, question and answer of this question I'll be expecting from you all in the comment box. What is the question? Is how many objects can be created? Answer me fastly. That for this class hello, if I want to create an object, so how many total number of objects can be created? Right? So how many objects, when I say how many objects can be created, so some of you may say 1, 2, 10, 100,000, 1 million, 10 million. Yes, any number of objects can be created. You can create n number of objects, no problem at all. I guess you understand my point. That if anyone is asking that for a class, how many total number of objects can be created, right? How many number of class can be created? Very good, Neeraj. N number of objects can be created, no problem at all. N number of objects can be created. Fine it is. But the purpose is, one more thing might be coming to your mind. What is that? That why do we need to create that object? And what is the background things which is going on when you wanted to create that n number of object? If you want to create that n number of objects, so what is the purpose of creating that n number of object? Are you getting my point? So see, how does creating an object, what it costs to you? What is the costing of creation of a one object? See, everything you need to calculate in that way whenever you are doing such kind of things and when you are talking such kind of things in that. So I'll tell you what it costs you. Here, say for example, I'll write here one class. As such, I have written one class hello, and hope it is visible, audio is clear, everything is clear to you all. So here what I'll do now, hello h1 is equal to new of hello. See, I am very specific to my point, which is Singleton Design Pattern, but I'm not just going to tell you only the Singleton Design Pattern. I want to discuss left and right things about the Singleton Design Pattern also, right? So have bit patience and watch it till the end. You will get many new concepts, and compared to the concepts, aspects of understanding these all things is very important. In what sense we are understanding it, right? So that is again a very, very important point. So we have created one object. So one simple question: what will be a size of a object? I'll ask you that we have created one object. So if a simple term we define an object, what is object? So what we will say, object is what? A some amount of memory location inside heap memory. In simple term, In simple term, very low level definition which I told you, that object is what? Amount of memory location inside the heap memory. Now my question is, how much memory? What is that memory size? Can you be specific in the numbers? Like how much memory, how much amount of memory it is going to allocate? How much amount of memory, guys, it is going to allocate? If we want to talk about the memory allocation, so how much total amount of memory it is going to allocate, right? So okay, when I talk about the amount of memory, so you cannot say that how much amount of memory will be allocated, and even there is no fixed size of any object that this particular size will, there is no fixed size of any object that this is the amount of, this is the size, this will be the size of each object. No, that is not specific itself. No specification has been given that what will be the size of any object. Those who are saying 8 byte, I'm talking about object size. I'm not talking about the reference variable size. I'm talking about this size. I'm not talking about this size. We talk about H1. So for this H1, 8 byte memory will be allocated inside this, and here this, I'm talking about this object size. So I hope you are getting confused with the reference variable and the object. So for this object, there is no specific size. We cannot say that how much memory will be allocated for this object. We cannot say that how much memory will be allocated for this particular object. Never. Okay. So the question was, again I am coming back to my question, that how many total number of objects can be created for a class? N number of objects can be created, but will you be having that amount of memory inside the heap that you can create the n number of objects and that objects can be persisted in your heap memory? No, never. We cannot. And it can't be done again in this case. It cannot be done in that way. That processing also cannot be done here, right? You may create, but it will exceed. It requires more amount of memory of the heap. Fine. So there are some scenarios. There are some scenarios where we wanted to restrict that for this particular class, these number of objects only should be created. When I am saying these number of objects, means what I want is that for this class hello, so let's say I am owner of this class. I have created some very good logic. But I have one serious concern that people should not be able to create their own copy of the object. Everyone should not, if n number of, see, I have written one hello class, and maybe some important things I have written inside this class. And what I want that everyone should use it according to their requirement. So what I want is that everyone should not create that object. So what I want is that the same copy of object should be shared with everyone. That is what my basic requirement is. I want that whatever the one copy of object should be shared with all, right? So in Singleton, I'll conclude here. Singleton design pattern. The Singleton design pattern allows you to write only or to create only one object for that class. More than one object of a class cannot be created. We cannot write more than one object. We cannot create more than one object for a Singleton class. So there are some steps in order to create, in order to write your class, in order to write your program in such a way. There are some steps. That steps we will be following. That what all that steps is there, what we should do so that one object could be created. Only one object can be created in any ways, right? So even I will be telling you what all the, so say here first I'll create one class, and here I'm writing Singleton. I'm writing here the Singleton, and well, I'll write one class. and inside this case, here the form which I am writing a class called as hello. This is a simple class which I am writing, and even I will tell you in your API where this has been implemented in a more way, where what all the different uses in your given API which is by default given by the Sun Microsystem or Oracle, where they have used these all things. So even I'll be telling to you that. So the very first step is, step 1 is, see, I'm telling you even purpose. See, if I will write hello h1 is equal to new hello, so of course I am able to create an object of the class hello. But at the same time, suppose I am creating another object, that I am able to create this object. Like the way, if I will create n number of times this object, then we can create object of this class, n number of objects we can create. So the primary thing what we have to do is, the very first thing, that if we want to avoid that for this class hello some object should not be created outside the class, so the very first thing what I have to do is, this is a default constructor, and on the basis of this default constructor itself, these objects are being created. If that default constructor is not available, we won't be able to create the object of this class, right? So very first thing is, I'll write it here, that is the private. Now the moment when you have written the private, these both objects we can't create it now, because the default constructor is not accessible outside the class. And on the basis of parameterized constructor, you cannot create. Why? Because parameterized constructors are not available inside the class, right? So since parameterized constructors are not available, so we will make sure that there is no parameterized constructor and a public constructor, right? So first thing, so here these two lines we cannot write it. Is that clear now? Very first thing is that we need to avoid that for this class, object of this class should not be created from outside the class. So for that, what I have to do is, I need to declare this as a private. Very first thing. Is that clear? Once reply in the chat box, guys. Second thing now in this, here itself now. So one thing again is clear, by making the constructor private, what you did is one thing which you made it clear, that what clarity you did, that this class object cannot be created outside the class. But when I'm saying outside the class means that inside the class we can create the object of this class. We are saying that we can create the object of this class inside the class. Well, so we'll see how we can create the object of this class. So one, hello static, I am writing hello of h1 is equal to, at present I am writing null. Why I am writing null? Okay, so why I am declaring it as a static? So you all are now in the, all you can say the expert of Java at present. You are just learning this interview questions. So you might have understand that what is the role and responsibility by declaring any member of class as in static, right? So that's what I'm not explaining it explicitly. And if you understand it, write in the comments box why we are declaring hello h1 as in static. Well, now what we want is, we want only one specific thing. So I'm using static block. Why I'm using static block? Write it in the chat box. Why I'm writing static block? Because even if we load the class, so class could be loaded only once, and once means that static block could be processed only once. So more than once this static block cannot be processed. So well, h1 is equal to new of hello. When I'm writing new of hello means what happened? What happened is h1 is equal to, when I am writing new hello, it means we did it one thing, that yes, default constructor was private, from outside the class we cannot create the object of the class, and now what is happening is, inside the class hello itself I have created one object, and that is on the basis of default constructor I have done it, right? Okay, so now here, but now the challenge is what? Challenge is that I wanted to get this object outside this class. Well, we have created this object. Here we have created this object. Now I want to get this object outside the class. So what I will do now? Here I'll write one again, getter method, public static and I'll write here hello of get hello. I have written well here. Return what we can write now? H1. Guys, very simple short I have created. What I have created is the Singleton Design Pattern. Very simple way. Very simple thing. I have created a Singleton Design Pattern, right? And when I have created the Singleton Design Pattern, guys, in this, so what I have to do again is, now see, I want to create the object of this class hello. So hello. So see, inside this class hello, there is one static method. See, understand here that in order to create or in order to process, in order to execute this static block, what I have to do? Write, guys, in the chat box. Be active. Keep on writing your answers as much as possible. So the thing what I'm saying is that if I wanted to get the object of, or I wanted to process this static block, then what I have to do? Fast. I have to execute this line. And how this line could be executed? This line could be executed by writing hello dot get hello. Means if we access any static method of a class, then automatically that class will be loaded, and once the class is loaded, static block will be processed. Very good, all of you are very intelligent. Okay, now I am getting here hello of h1 is equal to this. That's what I have written here. Fine. And once I've get, so we got one object, and I'll do one thing, guys. Here, let me write void of show one method, so that we will see what inside this now. Show in hello, just to see with this h1 whether I am able to call it or not. H1 dot show method I am doing. See whether I am able to call it or not. Why? Because first let's see that whether object has been created or not. So definitely if the object has been created, then only we are able to call the show method. If not, then we would not have done it. Now here two things is going to come. Here you might be thinking that no, okay, this I know that. Now my question here is, now see, I want to create another object. H2 is equal to, so this class hello has already declared that you cannot create the object of this class by just, see here, this class hello, the class hello when I talk about, so this has already said that boss, if you want to create the object of this class directly, sorry, there is no option for this. So you ask that how we can create the object of this class. So see here, already the class constructor is private. Did you got it? Already it is private, and since by declaring it private, it has already told you what? Cannot create object. How? On the basis of default constructor, and that is only your entry point when you don't know anything about the class, right? So here hello h1 is equal to new hello, we can't do, right? We cannot create it. So hello, how can we create? So hello is saying that I have one authorized member, the name of that method is get hello, and that get hello will only can give you only the object. So you call that get hello, it will give you the object. Getting it? So I'll write again, I'm going to the get hello dot get hello dot get hello. I have created, let me show you that whether am I able to do anything, the same thing what I'm doing with the h1. Yes, we are able to call it now. So what is the proof? You may say that what is the proof, sir, that h1 and h2 are the two different objects? You may ask what is the proof that h1 and h2 are two different? Same object or different object. So I am not going to say anything. I'll just write one line and hope you will understand, all of you, that whether it is the same object or it is a different object, it will only tell you. I need not to tell anything to you, right? So what it is going to do now? I'm running it here. What it is giving? It is giving true. And if it is giving true, so can you tell me what is the meaning of true? If it is giving the true, then can you tell me what is the meaning of true? Tell me fastly, guys. If it is giving true, it means that what? It means that both objects are having the same reference, and when same reference means the same reference is being shared with both, not having both. The same reference itself we are sharing to the H1 and H2 both. So this is how we can make sure that only one object can be created for a class. And for this class now, we cannot create the object of this class. We cannot. And one more thing here, some of you might be having some doubt, so that doubt I will just clear you, don't worry. Look at this h2 dot hash code. Why I am writing this? I am writing this for many reasons. Right, we got some hash code. We got some hash code or not? Again I am running. Will I get again same hash code? I hope you understand the point. Right, this is the singleton. Now in your class, in your Java API, understand here now, in your Java API, in your Java API, in your Java API, there is one class, guys, and the class which we have is in this class. Now there is one class called as runtime class. Runtime class available inside java.lang package. Runtime class which is there has also been implemented on the basis of Singleton Design Pattern itself. When I'll say about the runtime class, so once let me show you here. Here we have the runtime class. You can see inside the runtime class. See, this is a runtime class, and there are many important methods, guys. When we will be discussing questions related to this class, at that time you will understand what is the runtime class is and what all again important things are there. But a simple thing what I will show you here is, see, runtime class is I'm creating runtime rt is equal to new of runtime. We are not able to create the object. Why we are not able to create the object of this class, runtime classes? This is again one important interview questions, that why we are not able to create the object of runtime class, right? So when I am creating the runtime class object, so why we are not able to create the runtime class object? See here, because it's been implemented on the basis of Singleton Design Pattern. And when I am saying Singleton Design Pattern, means the runtime class default constructor has been declared as private. Since it has been declared as on private, so what will happen is we won't be able to do like this. We won't be able to create the object of runtime class by using the new keyword. So there is one question, that sir, what is the entry point where we can get the object of this class? Yes. So this object of this class we can create on the basis of, in the form of Singleton pattern, which is get runtime. There is one method and its return type is the runtime itself. So what I will do here, runtime RT is equal to runtime dot get runtime. This is the runtime object I have got it. Now through RT you can write. Now it's a singleton. Singleton in the sense, again, here I am writing R2, R1. Two objects we have created. When we have created two objects, so let me again show you that RT is equal to RT1, the both things which I am showing to you, and you can see what did we got here, what we have find out here. Is it going to give the same thing? Yes, it is going to give the same thing. It is going to give the true. It is giving what? True. True means what? True means that the both things, both objects what you have created of the runtime class is the same object here. Is that clear, guys? Any doubt in this? Right? Any questions in this now? If you have now any questions, you can write in the. Now, what was the next question? Can you tell me? What was the next question, guys? Next question in the sense is on the thumbnail what I have written the next question. What is factory design pattern? What is the factory design pattern? That yahi hai na? Factory design pattern. See. Factory design pattern. What we do in the case of factory first? What we do in the case of factory? From factory, we would be always expecting that factory will manufacture some products and it will give it back to you, right? That is what the basic factory task is. So what we want is that by using this factory design pattern, what we are trying to do is we are trying to get a new object we wanted to get based on by providing a simple input. We are saying that we want to get this, so without providing any raw material, you will be able to get that particular item whatever you want, right? So what I'll do is instead of explaining like this, I'll write one program based on the factory design pattern, and then we would be understanding in a proper way that what is the task of the factory design pattern. Is that okay? So let me example. First, let's see here in this. Factory I am writing, and here one JTC I have written. So the question is, guys, what sort of factory we wanted to create? What sort of factory we wanted to get? What is the sort of factory we wanted to create? What sort of factory we wanted to? Or the question is, Neeraj is having, can we create another object of singleton using the clone method? Neeraj, again it depends that whether that object is eligible for cloning or not. So when in the singleton what you have done, it is not eligible for cloning. It is since not eligible for cloning. So with the help of that directly you cannot do. Now again, It depends on your implementation process. Once let me explain his questions, and then better I'll be doing it clone. See, many things are there again in this. Understand, all of you. I'll be just explaining the factory. See here, guys. When I talked about the Singleton design pattern, so the question is, can we clone it? Can we clone it? When we talk about cloning, so it matters that what type of cloning you wanted to do. But first of all, simply you cannot call the clone method, because if you will call the clone method, so for that basic requirement is that on whichever object you are trying to call the clone method, that must implement the clonable interface. So if it is implementing, yes, you can do, right? But whenever you are cloning it, so the same object again you are getting back. You are not getting the new object over there. The same object you are getting. You can clone it, but yes, in what condition you can clone it? I told you that is the condition, then you can clone it. But whenever you are trying to clone it, it depends, like you are going to get the same object again what initially you have got, right? Now next one, guys, inside this again two things are there about the singleton itself. That in singleton, two things. What is the two things? Is the first one and the second one. The very first one is what? That what will happen in the case of multi-threading environment. When we talk about the singleton, so what will happen in the case of multi-threading? Is it going to be a thread safe, or it is not going to be the thread safe? Your again question from my side, that whether it is going to be a, so depends that singleton what sort of object you wanted to create, what sort of objects you wanted to create for the singleton. In case if the singleton what you are implementing, and in that case if it is synchronization based here, right? So thread safe singleton, that also objects you can create, and thread unsafe, that also you can do. So that is one simple homework again for you, which you should do it by writing, and write it in the comment box how you are writing the thread safe implementation of a singleton and thread unsafe implementation of the singleton design pattern. That, because that is also, hope Neeraj I have answered your question. Okay. And I talk about the factory design pattern. So in this, guys, first, what sort of factory we wanted to create first? We want to understand like what sort of factory we wanted to create. So when I talk about the factories, so I want to create one animal factory. One factory which I am creating is the animal factory I wanted to create. Are you getting my point? I wanted to create the animal factory. Now in this animal factory, there is one thing which is responsible to give the animal. So from animal factory, what you will get? I am writing here the animal. At present only I am writing the animal, okay, and get animal. Get animal I am writing, okay. So this is one. The very first one is that this factory is going to give you the animal. What animal it is going to give? So factory will give the animal. Now depends, we will see whatever the raw materials we will provide, based on that it is going to give the factory means animal. So here now I'll write a class called as animal. And so what type of animal we need? We need the animal which can perform two tasks. What is that two tasks animal can perform? The animal can perform we want the two types of animal. So animal can perform void of eating, means that whatever animal, my factory, the name of this factory is animal factory, is going to generate some animal, but the animal features is first it will be doing eating, and then one more it is going to do the maybe the sleeping. It is going to do the sleeping. Two things this animal is going to do. One is eating and second one is the sleeping. Got it? Now, so next one is, so what I'll do here now, I'm writing a class called as, so again, the raw material which I'm providing, and understand it, I'll write here the dog implements. What sort of implementation dog is going to do? Animal it is implementing. So first, whenever this dog is implementing the animal, so I must have to override public void of eating, and again that is the, so here I'll write eating in dog and public void, here I'll write sleeping. In this also I'm writing sleeping in dog. Okay, one thing, one basic thing which we have done it, one raw materials basically we have given it, so that is the eating inside this, these two things we have given, guys, here. Fine, it is. Well, in the second case, what I want to do is, what next I want to implement is that I will write one another class, let's say any class you can write, any dog name, anything you can give. So let's say I'll write the cat, which implements which one now? Animal. And when these two are, so let me do one thing, let me copy this both. Inside this I'll write the cat and sleeping in cat. These two things which is that we have done. Now here, guys, first what I want is that we wanted to do the very basic things associated with this here first. So I'll write here animal. First I'm writing animal of ANI is equal to null, because it's an interface, so we cannot here the ANI. So now this, okay, now here we will put some condition that for this get animal method, what inputs you are providing. So we need the code, animal code. What sort we need? We need the code, that what code you are providing, based on that you will get the animal. So we will even define public static final int of, what is that? Dog is equal to 1 I am giving, and the same thing is cat is equal to 2 I am giving. These two things as such I have given here. Now when I am giving these two things, so well I'll write if A is equal to 1, then ANI is equal to new of dog, you create the object. Means we will give the dog. Else, or here itself I'll write one more, if A is equal to 2, then I'm writing ANI is equal to new of cat. Here that also I have written. Both of the things, both of the cases I have written here something. Right, it is. Now see, देखो अभी हम लोग next we will be discussing the GOF design patterns, right? And then after we will be discussing the builder design patterns, which is very, very important, guys. So here now we have got something here now. So this is the implementation we have written, and let's make it this one also as a static. . Now here in this, when I'll write a class called as the main, so inside this first, this factory, so in this factory what we will do, say here, in this factory first, so factory dot get animal method, I want to get it. This is the department from where we can get the animal. So I will write it here. What is that I am writing? Animal factory dot get animal, and now we need to provide the input. So when I am providing the input, so animal factory dot I need a dog. Okay, now factory has to give the dog. Here I'll write now. So it is returning animal of ANI. This it is giving here. When it is giving here animal of ANI, so I'll write here ANI dot which one now? Dot dog, or else do one thing again. Here I'll write show, and inside this I'll pass ANI, and here you do one thing, public static void of show method, and the parameter of this is the animal of ANI. Now what I'll do now, show of ANI I have done. Instead of writing the again and again code, what I can do, ANI dot eating and ANI dot sleeping I have done, and here again I'm writing here, that is the better, what you can do is equal to null, you can write. That's what I do here. And now I'll write here ANI is equal to animal factory dot get animal, inside this animal factory dot I'll write here the cat. Now I want to get the cat. Now here I'll write show of ANI. Now see what you are going to do here from here. Now you are just calling the animal factory and you are getting it. You don't know like what is internally which is happening. It is automatically creating the animal, it is automatically creating the dog object, it is, so this is a factory design pattern. Now you can see this. See, is it automatically giving that eating in dog, sleeping in dog, eating in cat, sleeping in cat? Did you got it? So this is the, basically we will call it as the, what we will call, guys? We are calling this one as a factory design pattern. This is the basically what we are going to call it as a factory design pattern. So what I am expect from you all, that if possible you can take the screenshot of this in your mobile phone or wherever you are watching, and so that this could be there with you, right? And this, now again, this is going to be implemented in the many cases, like when we talk when we go in the higher level like Hibernate and all, so there we will be getting DAO factory. What we will be talking about? DAO factory classes, very popular. From there what we will get, whatever the data sources are there, from there we are going to get some different sort of connections. So this factory is implemented in the most of the cases, most of the places, and in most of the different ways it has been implemented, right? So hope so that you might be having some, now you would have got some clear idea about this. So if any question, anything, any doubt comes, please do write in the comment box. Now next, guys, here, what is next now? Next question is, what is GOF design pattern? What is GOF design pattern? And what is GOF? So see here first. See, mostly the design patterns what I discussed, it is also the part of GOF itself. It is also the part of GOF. So when I'll say GOF, so it is an abbreviation first of all, GOF. The one is gang of four, not gang of Wasepur, gang of four, right? It is. So gang of four design patterns. What is the basic idea behind the gang of four? In somewhere 1996, what did the four authors came together and they have given the different, specifically three categories of design patterns, and many design pattern again comes under this. Factory is also one of them only. Those who has been given by the GOF itself are like gang of four. So there are 4 authors. They have written a book, and in that book they have discussed many design patterns, software design patterns, and people started adopting it. Since it was in 1996 somewhere, I'm not sure, maybe it is 96 or somewhere 1 or 2 year here and there. But till then in software industry, there are number of again different sort of design patterns has been developed. Nowadays, like you will see, and I'll be someday discussing, and when I'm talking about the collection and all, like observer pattern. What is that? Observer pattern, right? So in this way, there are again some design patterns. So what I'll do here is, so GOF is not a something which I can immediately explain you here. It's a kind of theoretical things in which many design patterns comes, and if you just want to learn all the design patterns in that, it takes approximately you can say 1.5 months to 2 months to learn basically all the design patterns. So what I'll do is, I have just created one simple things for you. This is the simple kind of simple short notes for you which you can see. So see here, what is that? There were 4 authors: Inrich Gamma, Richard Helm, Raphael Johnson, and Johnson Wildesi. You can read out the name this properly. This is the 4 names, those who have written this book. Now in this book, what they have written is, basically what they have written is element of reusable object oriented software. Basically this is what they have written in this. I hope it is clear. So basically name of this 4, you may remember, you may not remember, not mandatory, just you need to remember that. Why we are calling it as an GOF? Because these 4 authors has given. So what is that? Inrich Gamma, Richard Helm, Ralph Johnson, and John will this something, it is there, I cannot read it. Okay, now so here first specifically they have written the 3 basic design patterns, guys. Basically they have written the 3 categories of design patterns. The one is which one? Creational design pattern, guys. The first one which is there is the creational design pattern. The first one what they have written is the creational design pattern. The second one what they have written is the structural design pattern. Here I'll just note it down for you. Types of design patterns. So one is the creational, second one is the structural design pattern, and the third one which we can say is the behavioral design patterns here, right? I'll just write it so that you can note it down. So what is the 3 main categories of design patterns they have given here is, guys, the 3 main design patterns what they have given is, don't get confused, creational design pattern, structural design pattern, and behavioral design pattern. These 3 are the basic main category of design patterns, right? And when you are learning it, do some Google on the basis of creational, structural, and behavioral design pattern, because again it is a very huge developmental issues and topic which we can see here, right? I've given one very simple thing, right? What is the creational? It deals with the project creation. What is that? Creational design patterns, basically it deals with a object creations. They looks at the way of solving the design issues arising out of the creation of the object anyways here. Now what is there in the creational design pattern? So I'll just name it out here, and better when you sit, do some as much as possible of study, of self-study, which could be the possible one, because bringing all them in your notice is only the important thing here, right? And definitely we will be creating again some other videos on each of the design patterns in depth, right? Because each one design patterns I'll be creating a separate videos, right? So here is abstract factory, the one which I've shown you just now. What I have shown you, one is the builder design pattern, second one is the prototype. This comes under the creational pattern. This comes under the creation. So you could remember that what all design patterns comes under the which one now? Creational design pattern. So there is 3: abstract factory, builder, and prototype. When I talk about structural design patterns, guys, so in structural design pattern again many things comes here: adapter, breeze, composite, decorator. This is one very important design pattern, decorator. Decorator is a very important design pattern. You can notice it now when you are studying. Even when I will make the videos, I'll be doing it on the basis of this. I'll keep it in the priority. Second is the facets, and now flyweight. This is also one important, and proxy is also one important. In Spring, very too much importance has been given to the proxy design patterns, right? So that is the flyweight and decorator and proxy from here. Next now. When we talk about the behavioral design pattern, guys, so in behavioral design patterns, chain of responsibility, that is one. Command, interpreter, iterator, mediator, memento, observer. Again, it is very important pattern. Observer is very important design pattern. Again, state, strategy, template method, visitor. This is all you can say. That is the one I have given you just a short glance here, that at least you can remember the names and the basic small theory part which I have given here, guys. And definitely I'll be coming up with the means once we complete this complete series. And please do like these videos, guys, right? Because those who are watching, all of you have not liked it, like it and as much as share it. So at least you remember it. Now in the last, when we will be concluding all these things, that time again we will come up with a series of design patterns itself, right? It is because here in this session itself it is not possible at this time to discuss all that. So here I have given a basic things, and you can please read it out all that, and you can have some bit understanding. Some of the important one which I focused one, that please read about this something. If not, then I'll create one more event and I'll be again talking about this more design patterns, guys. Right now here, guys, for today I'll just finish it up here itself. So we'll see you again tomorrow on the same time with some other content, with some other things. Thank you. Good night to all of you. Please keep on writing your comments, because again it motivates us to do hard work, right? And subscribe us lastly, right? So thank you all. Good night.